As the poet and Nazi sympathizer Ezra Pound once famously forgot to feel bad about, the individual cannot think or communicate his thought except by submission to the medium of the crowd. Spoiler alert. The crowd is an idiot, but a very, very predictable idiot. Part 1. The Big Lie, or Why Your Mum Was Right About Gossip. Let's start with the heavy hitter. The Big Lie. Adolf Hitler wrote about this in Mein Kampf, which is a terrible book, and an even worse coffee table decoration. His theory? People tell small lies all the time. You say you're 5 minutes away when you haven't left the bathroom. You say you read the terms of service. Small lies are expected. But a big lie? Something so absurd, so massive, so obviously stupid. The human brain refuses to believe anyone would be that audacious. So the brain does the mental equivalent of shrugging and says, well, it must be true, or else they wouldn't say it with such confidence. This isn't just a 1940s German problem. This is a Tuesday afternoon on Twitter. If you tell a small lie, people correct you. If you tell a medium lie, people debate you. If you tell a lie the size of Jupiter, they build a flag for it. Hannah Arendt, watching the trial of Adolf Eichmann, coined the phrase that lives rent-free in every dictator's head. The ideal subject of totalitarian rule is not the convinced Nazi or the convinced communist, but people for whom the distinction between fact and fiction no longer exists. Fun, right? We live in a post-fact playground, and the swings are made of your anxiety. Part 2. The bandwagon, or, peer pressure for adults. Nobody wants to be the only person standing still when everyone else is running toward a cliff. Why? Because, well, evolution punished the lookout. 10,000 years ago, if your tribe ran toward the river and you stopped to ask why, you got eaten by a lion. These days, if your tribe runs toward a crypto collapse or a political riot, you run too. Not because you're stupid, because honestly, you are lazy. Thinking is caloric expenditure. Propaganda exploits this by manufacturing the crowd. You've seen the graphic. 85% of people approve of this kidney theft law. You think, oh, 85%? Well, I guess I don't need both kidneys. They are heavy. Edward Bernays, the father of public relations, who, by the way, literally wrote the book Propaganda, realized this a century ago. He saw democracy not as a collection of thinkers, but as a herd of cattle with voting rights. He famously got women to start smoking by calling cigarettes torches of freedom. He didn't change the cigarette. He changed the sidewalk. As soon as one woman lit up in a parade, suddenly, every lonely housewife needed to burn tobacco to prove she wasn't oppressed. Erich Hoffer, a longshoreman philosopher who honestly knew a thing or two about mobs, wrote, "Propaganda does not deceive people. It merely helps them to deceive themselves. You don't need to lie to the crowd. The crowd is begging to be lied to. You just need to give them a train to jump on." Part 3. Emotional logic. Facts are boring. Facts are like broccoli. You know you should eat them, but you're not exactly excited about it, are you? Fear, though. Fear is, well, cocaine for the lizard brain. Propaganda 101. Never argue the policy. Argue the vibe. Is there an immigrant near you? Is there a tax that feels, icky? Is there a group of people wearing the wrong hat? Joseph Goebbels, the man who turned a Weimar Republic into a bonfire, had a simple rule: if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. But the dark humor here is the repetition part, the illusory truth effect. If you hear the sky is green 10,000 times, your brain just gets tired of fighting it. Eventually, you look up and say, yeah, I guess it's a bit greenish, honestly. This is why TV commercials play the same jingle 80 times in 1 hour. It's not to inform you, It's to break your spirit. George Orwell, who was basically a time traveler from 1984, warned us, the further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. See? If you hate the truth teller enough, you don't have to change your mind. You just have to change the channel. Part 4. The glittering generalities. Here is the laziest yet most effective trick in the book, the glittering generality. These are words so big, so warm, so fuzzy, that they basically short-circuit your vocabulary. Words like freedom, justice, strength, family, the future. No one is against freedom. But what does freedom even mean? To you, it means smoking weed and staying up late. To the propagandist, it means buy our war bonds and shut up. The trick is attaching your awful plan to a word nobody can criticize. Want to invade a country for oil? Call it Operation Infinite Justice. Want to raise taxes? Call it Protecting the Future. Want to mass surveil the population? Call it the Patriot Act. Notice the word patriot. Who is going to vote against a Patriot Act? You might as well vote against puppies. Noam Chomsky, the king of explaining why you're getting played, said, "The smarter you are, the more effectively you can fool yourself. The more educated you are, the more easily you can be manipulated, because you construct a rationalization for believing what you want to believe." That's the punchline, really. You think you are immune. You think you are the free thinker. You are not.
Let's talk about the oldest trick in the book, the scapegoat, the other. The guy who lives 3 blocks away, who definitely stole your job, poisoned the water supply, and made your sports team lose last Sunday. Here is the psychological beauty of the scapegoat. When you have a problem, inflation, loneliness, erectile dysfunction, whatever, solving it is hard. It requires math, compromise, therapy, and broccoli. But blaming someone, that's free. That's fun. That gets a crowd chanting. Propaganda doesn't even need a real enemy. It just needs an available enemy. The Jews in Nazi Germany, the communists in 1950s, America, the lazy millennials on your Facebook feed. The propagandist's formula is simple. 1. Find a group that looks slightly different. 2. Claim they are secretly running the world. 3. Watch your followers feel smart for connecting the dots. The psychologist Gordon Allport put it better than anyone. The function of the scapegoat is to enable the aggressor to escape his own guilt. He kills the goat, and the goat dies for his sins. The scapegoat never even did the thing. The goat is just there, eating grass, being innocent, and then bonfire. Meanwhile, the real problem, corruption, climate change, your landlord, continues untouched, because you were too busy hating the wrong person. And the propagandist? He's laughing on his way to the bank. Part 6. The fear then relief loop, or the horror movie you vote for. Let me tell you about a man named Steve. Steve is sitting on his couch. He's fine. His life is boring. He doesn't care about politics. Suddenly, a TV anchor screams, "Your neighborhood is under attack!" Steve panics. His heart races. He reaches for his wallet, his gun, his voting ballot. Then the same anchor, now calm, says, "But don't worry. Candidate X has a plan." And just like that, the fear vanishes. Relief floods Steve's brain. Dopamine. Safety. So Steve will now vote for Candidate X for the rest of his life. Not because Candidate X is, any good. No, but because Candidate X stopped the scary music. This is what they call the fear then relief loop. It's how you train a dog. It's how you train a toddler. And apparently it's how you run a democracy. Propaganda doesn't need to be scary forever. It just needs to be scary long enough for you to beg for a savior. Then the savior shows up, does one small thing, and you build a statue of him. Funny how that works, isn't it? Aldous Huxley in Brave New World warned us about the opposite problem, but, well, the principle stands. Most people would rather be governed by their fears than by their hopes, because fear is immediate. Hope requires patience. Notice how many emergencies we have today. A pandemic, a border crisis, a cyber war, an election integrity crisis. Are they real? Sometimes. But the propagandist multiplies them by 1,000. Because, an emergency means no debate, no thinking, just acting. and acting humans are stupid humans. Part 7. The know-it-all trap. Why smart people are the best puppets. Here's the joke that hurts the most. Stupid people, they know they're stupid. They watch reality TV. They admit they don't know what a tariff is. But smart people, oh, they are a propagandist's wet dream. Why? Because smart people don't just believe the lie, they rationalize the lie. They build a beautiful, intricate, logical cathedral around the lie. They use words like epistemology and hegemonic discourse. And then they die defending the lie. You've seen this, right? The highly educated person who believes the earth is flat. He doesn't believe it because he's dumb. No, he believes it because he's too smart to admit he was fooled. He spent, 10 years learning flat earth physics. He's the world's smartest idiot. Hitler had PhDs in his SS. Stalin had poets. And your uncle, the one with the 3 degrees and the YouTube channel about lizard people, he's not an exception, he's the target. Friedrich Nietzsche, who, went insane but was right about almost everything, wrote, "I'm not upset that you lied to me. I'm upset that from now on I cannot believe you." But the propaganda twist, the smart person says, "I'm not upset that I was lied to. I'm upset that you noticed." Now let me explain why the lie is actually true if you look at it from my specific, narrow, self-constructed worldview. The cure, admitting you might be wrong. But that's like asking a fire to admit it's wet. Good luck. Part 8. The repetition into reality machine. The 24/7 brainwash. We touched on repetition earlier, but let's go deeper. Because repetition isn't just persuasion. Repetition is reality manufacturing. Goebbels knew it, Bernays knew it, and every social media algorithm designer knows it. If you hear the economy is terrible every day for 3 years, you will feel poor, even if you just bought a boat. If you hear crime is rising every night, you will lock your door, even if crime is actually lower than in 1950. If you hear they are coming for you every hour, you will buy a gun, a fence, and a subscription to a fear-based news network. This is called cultivation theory. You don't have to believe the message, you just have to feel it, and feelings don't check footnotes. The philosopher Jacques Ellul, who wrote the Bible of this subject, propaganda, said, "Propaganda is not a means of deception, but a means of making the individual live in a world that is no longer real. It is a total assault on the ability to reason." So here's the final dark joke of the night. You came to this video hoping to learn how to escape propaganda, but the very fact that you're reading a long-form essay about mind control on the internet means you've already been trained to seek out secret knowledge from strangers. Congratulations, you're in a metacult. The only way out? Go touch grass. Literally, turn off the screen. Go talk to a neighbor. Read a book printed before 1990. Or don't. I've got another video queued up for you. It's about signs you're being mind controlled. The algorithm would really appreciate it if you clicked.